This evening, we are blessed to have the lovely and talented Nurse Dora here to talk to us about health and Cayce related concepts as to making sure we maintain a healthy body as well as a healthy mind so that we can have a healthy life. About 60% of the Cayce readings that he did were health related. And a lot of the precepts that he was talking about at this time are still in play today, and they're still every bit germane. We have to recognize that we are looking at a situation where we have a lot of new technology coming on with respect to drugs and whatnot, but a lot of the things that Cayce put out 100 or so years ago, every bit as relevant today. And so it's probably a good practice for us to go in and consider what we're going to do with what we know, plus with what the times are giving us. So to learn more about it, I offer for your great round of applause the lovely and talented Dora.
Oh, thank you, Steve, for that excellent introduction. So, yes, we will be talking about how to achieve good health based on the Edgar Cayce readings and my experiences as a nurse. And disclaimer first, so the main source of this information used for this presentation is the Edgar Cayce readings. I used other sources like books written about Edgar Cayce. All of the information presented is subject to personal interpretation. So we invite you to continue to research the topic for your own clarification. And there's plenty out there. Okay. And excuse this transition, I couldn't take it off, so we'll have to live with it. So the Edgar Cayce readings, health readings, were about 70% of the more than 14,000 psychic readings that were given. The readings gave a diagnosis and outlined a highly personalized, holistic treatment, not just drugs, but just treating the whole person. Most of the people who asked for the health readings in the early 20th century were desperate, and they came in as last resort, so they were, majority had been diagnosed as incurable. So the Edgar Cayce health readings follow 4 basic health principles, and the acronym for them is CARE, so it's like take care of yourself. Most of the health readings recommendations included simple suggestions that we can all practice to stay well. So we start with circulation, and circulation basically means making sure that we move so that we circulate blood to all of our organs. So daily physical activity is important for the circulation of nutrient and oxygen-rich blood to all your organs and your tissues. And that also means that it takes out waste products so that you can get rid of it, and your kidneys can do what they're supposed to, your liver, your lungs, by moving everything around. Then comes assimilation. That's a well-balanced diet will feed your body essential nutrients. The assimilation process includes the absorption and digestion of your food. And then we have relaxation, which is a pretty important part of the whole taking care of yourself. So the role of attitudes and emotions and their relation to good health, the practices to achieve balance in the activities of the mind and body. Then we have elimination, the healthy habits that help keep your body clean on the inside and the outside. The expulsion of waste matter from the body is also in the elimination part. So now we're going to talk about circulation and how to get that blood circulating. So most common health reading recommendation to improve circulation was basically just a walk, rain or shine, and especially in nature if you can. Of course, in Arizona it's probably kind of hard to do that right now, but when you can, then it's highly recommended. Also daily stretches and osteopathic adjustments, also known as chiropractic adjustments, were also recommended. Head and neck rolls, I don't know if you guys know any about the head and neck rolls that were recommended by Edgar Cayce, but they're really simple head and neck rolls to increase circulation to your brains and to your eyes. And here's a couple of readings that were given regarding all of that. So reading number 798-1 was given January of 1935. He says the less activities there are in physical exercise or manual activity, the greater should be the alkaline reaction foods taken. Energies or activities may burn acids, but those who lead a sedentary lifestyle can't go on too many sweets or too many starches. These should be very well balanced. So basically it means that if you aren't able to move around a lot, then you shouldn't probably be taking in a lot of the high starchy foods because they're very caloric rich. And so you basically are balancing your diet with your activity levels. And then we have reading 283-2 given November of 1927. This one says, there's no condition existent in the body that the reflection of same may not be traced in the blood supply. For not only does the bloodstream carry the rebuilding forces to the body, but they also take the used forces and eliminates the same through their proper channels in the various portions of the system. So basically it just means that we need to move so that we can circulate everything and make sure that our elimination organs are working well together. And this is another reading given November 30 of 1940. And this female is asking what type of exercise is best for the body. And the answer is walking is the best exercise, bicycling, either stationary or in the open as well. These are the better types of exercise. Open air activity is better. So again, he always emphasized open air if at all possible. And then we have this next reading, 4505, I can't really see it, 65-1, so given in March of 1928. And this one, somebody's asking, will the eye trouble be corrected? And then the answer was, this is a reflex from the cervical region and a sympathetic trouble. The head and neck exercises will correct this condition with the osteopathic corrections of those centers and near the secondary cardiac plexus. So again, he's recommending the head and neck exercises that are really simple to do, and I will teach you guys how to do those today if you don't know how to do them already. And then we have circulation. These are the detrimental lifestyle choices that we all can start working on. So these lifestyle choices increase the risk of heart attacks and strokes. So sedentary lifestyles, not moving at all. You can always pick walking, whatever it is you do, but just make sure you do it on a daily basis. Stop smoking tobacco products if you're smoking, because those are very, very detrimental. And that's what I see in the hospital is just smoking is just probably puts people at the highest risks for everything, whether it be lung disease, strokes, heart attacks, pretty much everything. I mean, also, they're probably one of the leading causes of kidney damage. So anytime you have like smoking tobacco products, which is it's gonna affect your circulation because it's constricting your blood vessels, and constricted blood vessels don't deliver blood or oxygen to much of your body, as well as if you weren't smoking. Another one that probably people might not really think about is dehydration, but that is big. I don't know how many people I see in the hospital day in and day out that come in dehydrated, and those dehydration symptoms can lead to other problems. So staying hydrated helps your blood flow easier too. And then unhealthy weight, of course, if you have unhealthy weight, then that increases your blood circulating, and that puts extra pressure on your heart, which is your pump. And so that eventually can lead to high blood pressure, it can lead to heart disease, and those are all correlated with, increasing your risk for strokes and heart attacks. And then, and then diet, and I put high sugar, fat, and salty diet because that's processed foods. So anytime you're eating, out of cans or boxes or fast food restaurants, you're gonna get a lot of salt and sugar and fat in your diet because they wanna make it taste good so that you can keep coming back. He also recommended chiropractic adjustments as part of just helping circulation. So when used in conjunction with massage therapy, it can be a great benefit. I would say especially if you have someone that can't do a lot anymore, they're not able to walk, then maybe massage therapy and some adjustments would be recommended. And these are found in many, many of the readings. And then, so these chiropractic adjustments also help to balance the bodily energy flow through your whole system, and brings the sympathetic and cerebral spinal functions into harmony, and they promote a healthy lymphatic system. They also help regulate your blood supply. Then we have another circulation reading, this one given November of 1934. And somebody asked, would any type of home exercises produce similar results to osteopathic treatments recommended? And the answer is no. Corrections and exercises are quite different. To be sure, head and neck rolls would be helpful, but they would not take the place of the three to well 3 adjustments. So he, again, recommended chiropractic adjustments often. And then here's another one on circulation, given September of 1938, and a health reading. This health reading was given to a 50-year-old woman with many ailments that included arthritis, poor circulation, hypotension, neuritis, rheumatism, and toxemia. So he says, well that the body take each day a certain amount of exercise, or as much as possible in the open. Walking is the best exercise, but this, though, in the open when at all practical. In the diet, keep to those things that are not excessive in starch or acid-producing foods, but let at least one meal each day or a portion of one meal each day be of green and raw vegetables. So very, very simple, really. It's just moderation. But I like this little cartoon I found, and the patient's asking the doctor, what fits your schedule better? Or the doctor's speaking to the patient. What fits your schedule, your busy schedule better, exercising 1 hour a day or being dead 24 hours a day? I like that. And then we are going to talk about assimilation. So this is your diet. And I have a lot more slides on the diet. So a well-balanced diet will feed your body essential nutrients. The assimilation process includes absorption and digestion of your food. And the Edgar Cayce readings advocated a diet based on whole foods, preservative-free, with an emphasis on whole grains rather than processed ones. So more fish, fowl, and lamb than red meat, and more leafy green vegetables than starchy ones, and a daily diet composed of about 80% alkaline-producing foods to 20% acid-producing foods. And here's a reading on assimilation given April of 1931. And this one says there should be a warning to all bodies with respect to assimilations and eliminations. For would the assimilations and the eliminations be kept nearer normal in the human family, the days might be extended to whatever period as was desired. For the system is builded by the assimilations of that it takes within, and is able to bring resuscitation so long as eliminations do not hinder. So what does that mean? It really means that if you're eliminating, and that could be like having bowel movements daily, that could be making sure you're drinking water to keep your kidneys working and cleansing your blood, breathing properly, then we might live longer than we are now, which would be good if you want to live, that is. And then we have, this is the Edgar Cayce basic diet and diagram. So this one is interesting because it basically gives you, number one, that one is alkaline producing food, so that should be 80% of your diet. And that's mostly green leafy vegetables and fruits. And it's kind of hard to see because it's not really focused, but I'm going to go on to the next slide and then we'll review all the alkaline foods. So the top alkaline foods, these are excellent options to include in your diet for maximum health benefits. So we have fresh fruits and vegetables, 3 to 5 daily servings, and that he even gave how many above ground vegetables to how many underground. So basically above ground are the leafy greens. Underground is like the starches like carrots and beets, potatoes, that kind of stuff. So that's the ratio you should be having, 3 to 1. Plant-based proteins, basically all the beans, which include lentils, chickpeas, all the types of beans are plant-based proteins. There's also like the tofu, the tempeh, the quinoa, edamame beans, so the soy products in there that contain pretty good amounts of protein. And then we have the nuts and seeds, and those include like chia seeds, the mighty almond, peanuts, and hemp seeds. Anti-inflammatory herbs and spices, we have so many to choose from. I included a few in here, but we have garlic, turmeric, rosemary, cinnamon, ginger, and black pepper, cloves, etc. There's many out there. And then olive oil is also alkaline producing. Now we have the top acid-forming foods. These foods should be included in very limited quantities in your diet because they increase the acid load in your diet, and they're usually very poor choices. And so dairy is all types of dairy, and except for the fermented products like buttermilk, kefir, yogurt, those are a lot less acidic because the bacteria is actually breaking down the lactose and all the proteins in the milk. And the reason that milk products can be very acidic is because of the protein, and our body has to work so hard at breaking down those animal proteins, so we produce a lot of acid byproducts. And then we have the processed meats, which is a staple of the American diet. So we have hot dogs and all the cured meats and sausages and chorizo, all of that. And then we have the refined grains, so the white rice and all the refined grains. So if you can get them in whole, like whole wheat, brown rice, those are better choices. If you can use like quinoa to replace your rice, quinoa is an excellent grain to eat with your meals. And then we have, of course, all the processed foods, and that's all the fast foods and all the junk foods, all the really yummy snacks that we like to have. And then we have caffeine and alcohol. Of course, Edgar did talk about red wine being good in moderation, but that's probably about 3 to 4 ounces. And he always recommended it with brown bread. So like rye bread, I imagine. Yes. So he says that becomes a meal instead of just a drink when you have it in that manner. And then we have more on acid-forming habits now. So it's not just the foods, but we also have habits. So while a healthy diet is critical for creating an alkaline environment, there's other habits that can also increase the acid levels in your body and cause plenty of harmful side effects. So try to improve these so that you become more alkaline. So that's inadequate sleep. So not getting enough sleep means that you don't give your body enough rest so that your body can regenerate. And when you're sleeping is when a lot of the detoxification takes place through your kidneys, through your colon, your breathing. And then stress, of course, and that one's a big one that causes a lot of acid in your body. And then we have physical inactivity, because when you sit down, you're not moving anything, so stuff just sits there and you're not moving. So you're not delivering oxygen to your tissues or your organs, so you can become more acidic just because you're not circulating. And over exercise. And if you go out there and you just overdo and you're doing like 3 hours of workouts or like running, that can be pretty acid forming also for your body. And it can be kind of hard on your joints too. So we have to kind of consider the exercise according to our ability and our age. Take all those in consideration. And also overuse of antibiotics. And that can also be very acid forming. And I think a lot of that is probably related to the fact that they kill a lot of your good bacteria in the gut, which can help you with a lot of the detoxification process. And then we have drug use, and that's legal, illegal. I mean, if you take in a lot of ibuprofen, Tylenol can be very toxic to your liver, but ibuprofen can also be very hard on your gut, so you have to really just kind of, figure out why you need those to begin with, and then maybe find other ways to address the issue. And then we have the exposure to pesticides, herbicides, and pollution. That maybe pollution we can't do too much about, but we can probably try to, work on the pesticides and herbicides by eating as much as we can. Like, when we buy our fruits and vegetables, try to buy organic if at all possible, or clean them and wash them well with like a vinegar solution. And then we have frequent caffeine intake. So if you take, you drink a lot of coffee and then you add cream and sugar to it, now you're making dessert for yourself. So, and then we have low fiber intake is another way to become acid, because if you don't have that fiber in there, then you're not cleaning out your colon. And if you're not cleaning it out, then stuff just sits there and rots. And I see that in the hospital more than I would ever care to. Yes. I like this little slide I found here. It says stressed out, express, and then sleep deprived. And then back there it says living for weekends and holidays. Right. And then we have food as medicine. So again, on assimilation. So here's a reading given March of 1937. And someone asks, my husband is suffering from an insidious skin condition. And there's a lot more to these readings, but you have to break them down sometimes. So the answer is, in the matter of the diet, keep same well balanced as to an alkaline and an acid reaction. Do not combine any of these two in the same meals. That is potatoes, white bread, spaghetti, or macaroni. Those are all starches. Eat potatoes in the jacket and peel rather than the pulp. The salts of these are the most beneficial to the activities of the body. Do not take cereals and citrus fruit juices on the same day or in the same meal, obviously. Fish or fowl or lamb is preferable to roast or other types of meats. Bacon may be taken if prepared very crisp without much of the fat or grease in the same. So basically just draining all the grease, and then you just have the crunchy stuff left over. So again, he not also did he suggest the 80-20 diet, 80% alkaline and 20%, but it was also meal combinations, how you combine. So he said at any one sitting, you can have one starch. So that's, your potato or your rice, but no two starches in the same meal, especially with the protein, because when you digest them, actually the enzymes are different, and you're going to be just causing a little fermentation in your gut. And stuff will sit there longer if you put the two together. So one starch with the meal. And then we have the food combinations to avoid. And so certain food combinations, as I stated earlier, are difficult to digest and may cause problems in your digestive system. So drinking a lot of fluids with your meals. So when you eat, you try to just drink your water before or after, not during the meal. You probably can take a few sips to wash it down, but your drink should be before or after, at least a half an hour to an hour. Because when you drink a lot of fluids with your meals, you're distending your stomach, and your stomach has only so much acids to digest your food, and so doing that is actually going to make you more acidic, because then the food has to go unbroken down by the gut, and so it's going to go through your small intestine, and it's going to be absorbed by the bad bacteria, and then you're going to have a lot of gas and just bloating. So, and then 2 or more starchy foods at the same meal again, so 1 starch per meal. And then sugary foods and starchy foods, and that's also not good, but most of our sugary foods are starchy foods. And then we have milk and citrus fruit or juice. So he said when you eat your breakfast, don't have juice with your milk, or even with oatmeal, because it's not a very good combination. Save your juice for later on, or maybe just skip it. And then cereals and fruit juice, again, not a good combination. Also, large quantities of starchy foods with meat or cheese, and what is that? Our pizza. Yeah. And then I cut these pictures out because this just drives me nuts when I see watermelon with anything else, because watermelon is basically water. So eat it alone or leave it alone, because you're going to be fermenting and making wine when you're eating that combination, because the watermelon goes in, and then if you have large amounts of sugary water with protein or starches, not good. It's not a good combination. Or I like this down here. I mean, it looks yummy. Potatoes and beans and bread and eggs. I mean, pick one. But I do see people eat like that in the hospital all the time. So, yeah. Let's go back to this one. So the alkaline diet benefits, which are plentiful. So the benefits of the alkaline diet can affect practically every aspect of your health. Some of the most significant benefits are decreased chronic inflammation and pain. And so acidosis has been associated with chronic pain, joint pain, chronic inflammation, and headaches. It also reduces blood pressure and improves your cardiovascular health. And it's not just that you're eating a lot of nutrients and minerals, but it's also they have an alkaline effect on your whole body. And then they can help prevent the development of cancer. Cancer cells thrive in acidic environments, so diets high in fruits and vegetables shift your pH to a more alkaline environment, and raw foods contain very high levels of cancer-fighting antioxidants and more, and that's why he recommended at least 1 raw salad or meal a day of fruits or vegetables. And then continuing on more benefits, so a high alkaline diet promotes strong bones and increased mineral density, so lowering your risk of fractures. And that is because fruits and vegetables, especially like the green leafy, will have a lot of minerals, the calcium, potassium, and magnesium, and many others. And you also will have obvious increased vitamins. Raw fruits and vegetables contain life-giving minerals like magnesium, calcium, potassium. These are crucial for many different functions through the body, from the formation of bones to a supporting an immune function, and also diets rich in magnesium can help with the absorption of other vitamins like vitamin D, which makes it easier to meet all your needs. And I included this little slide on the 7 most alkaline foods, and that's spinach, avocado, broccoli, bell peppers, celery, cucumber, and kale. All right, and so last but not least, I wanted to talk about the mighty almond, which Edgar Cayce recommends in many, many readings. So the readings often recommended almonds as a cancer tumor preventative, and almonds contain healthy fats, fiber, protein, magnesium, vitamin E. These nutrients also help control blood sugar levels, they reduce your blood pressure, and lower cholesterol. And in this reading, somebody asked, what factors cause nasal lesions to reappear after good corrections? What other conditions cause the congestion and inflammation in nasal membranes? And what may be done to correct such conditions? So the answer is, if an almond, or 2 to 3 is actually what he recommends, is taken each day and kept up, you'll never have accumulations of tumors or such conditions throughout the body. An almond a day is much more in accord with keeping the doctor away, especially certain types of doctors, than apples. For the apple was the fall, not the almond, for the almond blossomed when everything else died. And remember all, this is life. I like that reading. And there's a little picture of an almond tree, a hardy almond tree. And then now we have a relaxation, my favorite. So, mind over matter. So in this reading, given October of 1923, the activity of the mental or soul force of the body may control entirely the whole physical through the action of the balance in the sympathetic nervous system. For the sympathetic nerve system is to the soul, and spirit forces as the cerebral spinal is to the physical forces. And really what that tells me is that you can mind over matter, that your thoughts affect your health and overall well-being. And attitude is everything. So in this reading, somebody asked, how is my general health and how can I keep it in good condition? And is there any way in the world to restore my hearing in either or both ears? Life is hardly worth the struggle as it now stands with me. I read this entire reading, and this guy had everything. I mean, it was mostly his attitude, because he just couldn't see anything good in his life at all. And so then the answer is, as to whether there will be the full regaining of or improving in the hearing will depend a great deal upon the mental and spiritual attitude of this body. For if the body is kept physically purged, there will be quite a difference. Be mindful of the diets, and that it is as necessary to keep the body coordinating and clean as it is to keep the mental attitude right, as well as the correct spiritual purposes and desires. And most of all, keep all 3 consistently. And don't be one thing in one way and another in another way. He who doubts that the best will come to him with doing of that which is correct is already defeated. Don't blame others for what has happened or may happen. Do right yourself, physically, mentally, and spiritually, and the best will come to you. So, balance is everything, and attitude is everything too, most definitely. And I think that probably finding just that your thoughts really are things that they really affect and cause changes in your body, that is really tough. I mean, it's probably hardest for me, because I can have the eating right and I can do the exercise, but thoughts, oh my gosh, yes, that's tough. And so we have relaxation. So meditation was the #1 health recommendation overall, and I can see why. So some of the benefits of meditation are reduced pain, and it also enhances your body's immune system, reduces feelings of depression, anxiety, anger, and confusion, increases blood flow and slows down the heart rate, provides a sense of calm and balance, and helps reverse heart disease, helps control thoughts, increases energy, and reduces stress. And most of this is probably related to the fact that it puts you in like a parasympathetic mode instead of just being all hyped up in, fight or flight mode. And so that is, I think, why that meditation helps so much. But it also probably keeps you in touch with your higher being, which we all need more of. And so here's Meditation 101 from Edgar Cayce. From the ARE website is where I got this. And so And I know most of you guys probably already know this, but it doesn't hurt to review it. So number one, find a comfortable position. Keep your spine straight, legs uncrossed so that the energies flow, and then relax any tense muscles in your body. And then number two, include the head and neck exercises in here, and that's do each of the following 3 times. So, your head forward, your head back, and then to one side and the other side. And then basically that, and then your clockwise in both directions, just, do your neck rolls in both directions. And then don't strain or force. And number 3 is a deep breathing exercises, which are a critical component of meditation. So you fill your lungs, as deep as you can from top to bottom. Breathe in through the right nostril and out your mouth, and then repeat that 3 times. Breathe in through your left nostril and out through your right, and repeat that 3 times. So that kind of puts you in a more calmer, position. And then 4, you can use special meditation aids if you need to. So like, music, incense, chants, personal rituals, inspirational readings before that, and the prayers and prayers of protection. So, and the prayers, you can send out light and constructive energies to the people in your prayer list or people that need it the most. And then number 5 is the affirmation and prayers for deeper meditation. So move through the 3 stages of focusing on the affirmation, thinking about it, feeling it, experiencing it, and then return to the thinking stage whenever the mind wanders, which probably be many times as it is for me. Then allow 10 to 15 minutes for step number 5, and that's your healing prayer. So there you go. This the music doesn't really work for me, but everything else does work for me very well. And practice makes perfect. Yes, there's days that I can be it takes a whole lot more for me to get into that mode of meditating, but once I get there, I find it really, really beneficial for me. And then we have massage therapy, which is great for the whole body, great for circulation. It's great as a detox to, work everything out of your tissues, all the acids that sit in there if you're not moving. So massage is highly therapeutic for mind and body. It increases blood flow to your tissues, and it relaxes the body, and it gives us a gift of the healing touch. And really, if you think about it, there's a lot of people out there that are, alone nowadays. So massage is a great way to just have that human touch. That's another benefit. So, and here's some readings that talk about that. So, reading given December of 1933, he says olive oil is one of the most effective agents for stimulating muscular activity or mucous membrane activity that may be applied to the body. So, using the olive oil in a massage. And then August 1941, he gave this reading: those who would eat 2 or 3 almonds each day need never fear cancer. Those who would take a peanut oil rub each week need never fear arthritis. So, this is back in the 1940s, and, they weren't eating what we're eating. They weren't being exposed to all the stuff we're being exposed to, but it's still a good recommendation overall. And then this reading given December of 1941 says, and using the peanut oil rubs once a week, ye will never have rheumatism, nor those concurrent conditions from stalemate liver and kidney activities. So again, it's circulation. And he, of course, peanut oil rubs he recommended quite often in a lot of his health readings. And then we have sleep. So sleep is essential for healing and regeneration for your body. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep is optimum. However, not everyone is the same, so you might need less and you might need more, but any more than probably 9 is probably a little bit too much. And then exercise is essential for sleep. So there was an Edgar Cayce reading that said that you must tire your body if you can't fall or stay asleep. So if you go take your walk in the evening, then you're going to have a much better sleep. Because I do that often, and it helps me a lot, especially when I'm stressed out. And then eating heavy or late meals, of course, is going to affect your sleep pattern. So don't drink fluids before you go to bed, and establish a sleep routine. Stay off the phones. And then here we are on the thoughts are things. So some Edgar Cayce readings talk about improving your overall relaxation practice by And these are some of the readings that said emotions, both positive and negative, moved as electric energies through the nervous system, affecting the entire organism. So whether if you get really super excited or just really angry or stressed out, then it's going to affect all your energy patterns and flow. And then worry and fear are the greatest foes to a normal, healthy physical body. Yes. And then for thoughts are things, and they have their effect upon individuals just as physical as sticking a pin in the hand. Yes. And now we have elimination and the fabulous four. So we have breathing and your colon, which is your bowel movements, your skin, and your kidneys. Those are the four major elimination pathways. Digestion of raw materials are taken in and assimilated, and waste is produced, which must be eliminated from the body. If the waste is not effectively eliminated, then it becomes a toxic load to your system. So the four major eliminating routes in your body again are your bowels, the bladder, and your breath, and your skin, which your skin is actually one of the largest organs in your body. And so water is a universal solvent. So the Edgar Cayce readings often recommended using these detoxification processes to clean the body. And so for colon health, of course, your diet will have a lot to do with your colon health and how regular you stay. So proper diet, which of course would include a lot of fiber, water, and then colonics, enemas, and vegetable laxatives. That's what he recommended when people came in with constipation. He also recommended olive oil, which is really good to help move your gut, move your bowels. And then for your bladder, that's drinking 6 to 8 cups of water every day, pure water. Start your day off with a cup of water with a little lemon juice in there, and that will be a great way to get your kidneys flushed in the morning. Because dehydration will hurt your kidneys, definitely. And maybe not, you're not going to go into a hospital with kidney failure, but some people do. And then we hydrate them, their kidneys recover, but sometimes they don't, and they'll have like kidney problems from the rest of the time on. So just dehydration can be big in keeping your kidneys working well. And then we have your lungs. So moderate and regular exercise supports the body in eliminating through respiration and perspiration. So deep breathing, and make sure that throughout the day you just kind of notice how you're breathing. Most of us go around just shallow breathing. So taking some deep breaths throughout the day will help you eliminate toxins in your lungs, because that moves everything. And carbon dioxide, you'll be expelling it. So, and circulating more clean, oxygenated blood in your system. Then we have the skin. So for the skin, he often recommended steam baths, whirlpool baths, sitz baths, and ensuring adequate hydration again. And sweating is great. So if you can't get to a spa or a gym, just drive without AC on, and you'll be detoxing so well. That's your own little sauna in there. Yes, we get that in Arizona. Yes, yes.
Skin being the largest organ,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question on that because tattoos really gross me out. But
Mm-hmm.
people like Adam Levine that have tattoos all over their body,
Mm-hmm.
is that detrimental to the skin as an organ?
I don't know about, you're asking about tattoos on the body?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about the detriments, although I don't know what kind of dyes they're using. And if they're not, I don't really know a lot about tattoos, but I would be concerned if I was going to get a tattoo and what kind of dyes they're using to put on your skin. And also making sure that whatever equipment they're using is, clean. But I see so many tattoos now. I can't, I don't really know too much more other than just making sure that whatever dyes you're using are not harmful to your skin, because you're going to be absorbing all of that through your skin. As well, we don't really think about it, but all the lotions and stuff we put on our skin, it's absorbing right through. That's why we use medications like pain patches, and because we can deliver medications through the skin. So being aware of what you're putting on your skin is also pretty important. Like I try to buy mostly like lotions with not a lot of chemicals or pharmaceuticals, because I don't want that absorbing through my skin.
I never.
Some of the other Edgar Cayce health recommendations were the 3-day apple fast that John mentioned, and that's you eat the apples for 3 days, and then on the 4th day you would drink 4 ounces of olive oil, followed by a colonic. So that's basically like a little liver cleanse, because what the apples contain is a lot of there's a lot of now I can't think of the word, but the apples contain a lot of stuff that's going to break down stones in your gallbladder, in your kidneys, in your liver, and so then when you drink the olive oil, it actually you're pulling a lot of bile out, and you're helping to create a vacuum that pulls out some of those stones that have been softened. And the reason you would do a colonic is because now you're going to have all this stuff that just came out through doing your little liver detox, and then you want that all evacuated from your bowels. Otherwise, it's a lot of toxic old bile. So basically, you're actually making your liver make a little more clean, fresh bile, which is very critical for your digestion of fats. Yes, I've done those before, and they work really well. And then we have, of course, the castor oil packs that are excellent for helping with constipation and also pulling out toxins from your tissues. And so that's why I say when the skin is your largest organ, that's why these castor oil packs are so beneficial, because they're, if you work with if you use a castor oil pack across your entire abdomen, if you're constipated, then that's going to go right through. Yes. And of course, deep breathing exercises improve your oxygenation and deliver all that fresh oxygenated blood through your entire system. And then we have to talk about bowel movements, but having at least 1 bowel movement per day is very critical. If you're not having more than 1 or at least 1 bowel movement a day, you probably need to look at your whole diet and maybe kind of, add more water, get a little more activity, a little more fruits or vegetables, or maybe look at maybe some foods that may be very constipated, like if you're eating a lot of starchy foods and not drinking enough water, you got glue in your gut. So I see this in the hospital all the time, where you have to disimpact people because they go in so severely dehydrated. So now you're just, you're not only, you're keeping your kidneys from working adequately, but your bowels are just stuck in there. And people keep eating, and they keep eating, and pretty soon they have an obstruction. So now it's to the point where they have to actually go out and cut it out. If we can't get them to move their bowels, then you cut it out, and you'll be lucky if you don't end up with a colostomy bag if you don't have enough bowels. So yeah, very important. And then also all that waste sitting in your colon, you're reabsorbing a lot of it. Yes. And then the hardest one is letting go of your negative emotions and ruminations. These are highly toxic to your physical and mental well-being. The most important part, probably. And the hardest, for me, that's the hardest. I think I already have all the others down, but that one I have to work on daily. And so we have a little more on elimination. So over half of the health-related Edgar Cayce readings mention poor eliminations as part of the cause behind illness in question. So they also suggest that for everyone, everybody should take an internal bath occasionally, as well as an external one. So again, here he's talking about the hydrotherapy, the sauna as a hot tub, or just the steam rooms, or colonics. Colonics are very beneficial also, and he actually says that everyone should have one, even if you don't have any, bowel colon issues, and you should have one every few months, just as a way in internal cleansing. And then here's a reading that he gave July of 1941, and this one says, the things that hinder physically are the poor eliminations. Set up better eliminations in the body. This is why osteopathy and hydrotherapy come nearer to being the basis of all needed treatments for physical disabilities. And then this next reading says, in any preventative or curative measure, that condition to be produced is to assist the system to gain its normal equilibrium. So basically saying that, I guess if we eat in moderation, or hydrating, we're moving, then it brings our body back into the ideal equilibrium, so that our body does what it's supposed to do. And anytime it's thrown off, then you got to kind of go back and see, what is it that I'm doing, whether it's, stress, lack of sleep, lack of hydration, eating just bad food, and we can always go back and pinpoint what it is. And then here's another a reading given December 1943. It says, for the hydrotherapy and massage are preventive as well as curative measures. For the cleansing of the system allows the body forces themselves to function normally and thus eliminate poisons, congestions, and conditions that would become acute throughout the body. So yeah, here we go. So it's massage, it's just hydrotherapy, and it's the saunas that help you sweat it out and work it out.